So you turn on ESPN, one of your favorite coaches is having a press conference, and he says, "Oh, we've decided that we're not going to compete this season against one of our competitors. It's just, the way they play the game. Uh, we can handily beat them. It's not even that great of a competition for us, but the way they conduct themselves and the way they act on their side, I have too much respect for this game to dignify their attempt to try to compete at our level, and it forces me to lower myself to play them. And even though it would be a guaranteed win for us, we're just not going to be competing against them," said no coach ever in the history of any sport, including bowling. Okay? Can we just settle on the fact that Joe Biden lost the debate, and the reason there is this overreaction by the media, and you have people within the Democratic Party and Joe Biden floating these ideas that he's not going to dignify any further debates going forward, when you have an opponent that you have beaten and beaten handily, and you get an opportunity to play them again, I don't care, pick the sport, football, baseball, basketball, an opportunity for you to get some of the subs in, an opportunity for you to hone your craft, hone your ability in maybe a new play that you've wanted to try out, but you basically needed a guaranteed win. In fact, coaches do book what they consider to be guaranteed wins. We call that homecoming weekend. When you're going to have all the alumni in and you're going to have the big dance and the big formal and the big festival, you pretty much want a team in that you can handily beat. So if Joe Biden handily beat Donald Trump, wouldn't he want to debate him again to make the gap between he and the Trump even bigger? Why, if he's actually picked up additional points in the polling data and is extending his lead over Donald Trump, wouldn't you want an opportunity to debate him again so that you can continue to build your lead? He didn't win. The media knows it. Everybody knows it. And now midstream, they're even changing their defense. So Michelle Obama comes out of hiding and basically says that President Trump did what he did on purpose so that people would tune out and stop watching the debates. I just saw an article flash on my computer. I haven't had a chance to actually read the article from Politico, how Donald Trump torpedoed presidential debates. And now you have the debate commission meeting and discussing, should the moderator be able to have a mute button? Yeah, for himself. Let's get a couple things clear. No matter what you thought of the president's performance or debate style the other night, he was not the first one to interrupt. If you go back, seriously, and it's all over the internet and YouTube and places, you can watch the full debate, but you don't have to do that. Just watch about the first 5 minutes. It was Joe Biden who made the first interruptions, and the president let it pass. It was then Chris Wallace who started interrupting a Donald Trump answer. And at that point, you could just tell President Trump said, if this is how it's going to be, where I'm just supposed to stand here with my hands in front of me and follow the quote-unquote proper decorum, which basically means muzzle me, that my opponent over here, Biden, can say whatever he wants. It's going to be not fact-checked by the moderator. It's not going to be corrected. And I'm just supposed to do what every other Republican lemming has done in presidential debates beforehand, stand there like, Mitt Romney with a deer caught in the headlights, but trying to fake it with that laugh of his. When, Obama's saying things like, hey, the 80s called, they want their foreign policy back, when he was talking about the existential threat of Russia. which, by the way, was one of the few things Romney actually turned out to be true when Obama easily manhandled him over things like, when talking about the military, well, we don't have to order as many swords and horses anymore because we don't have cavalries anymore. And he made Romney look buffoonic. And when he tried to go on the attack against Obama, you had Candy Carlson from CNN interrupting and fact-checking Romney, only later when the debate was over for all of our colleagues say, no, Candy, you were actually wrong. Romney was right. Oh, my bad. Well, too late. Damage already done. People had already watched and absorbed the debate. And Donald Trump simply is not going to be anybody's punching bag. It's really that simple. And again, I still think that the president was playing a 4D chess move. It's interesting to hear Rush come out and, really talk up, what the president did in that debate, because that's not the monologue we got from Rush yesterday. It was almost like a post-mortem. Oh my, what was he thinking? Even nasal twit Ben Shapiro yesterday.
Trump is absolutely blue and perfect opportunity to gain and garner greater support.
Oh, shut up. I don't like entitled, erudite individuals, whether they be on the left or the right. I don't like being lectured to by the not simply the haves, I've always been entitled, I've always been, I'm going to use a liberal line here and some of you aren't going to like it, I've always been privileged, but a guy like a Ben Shapiro, it's like, Benny, why don't you go work in the real world for a little while, experience real life for a little while, and then come back and bless us with this wealth of incredible knowledge that you have. Sorry. We understand that Donald Trump is a man of means, and some people would call privilege. It's privilege of hard work. He understands how to roll his sleeves up and literally get the job done. He's the blue-collar billionaire. And by the way, while they're trying to make so much out of, see, look, now that we have illegally obtained his tax returns, and we find out he's really not as rich as we knew that, and he's kind of broke, and you know what? It's all hogwash and spin, because none of us have actually seen these returns that the New York Times claims to have seen. But I'm sorry, in my mind, that just makes Trump even smarter. A guy who's been for decades able to live in opulent wealth and he's broke. You see, the narratives and the reality never match up. It's like when I listen on the theological side of things, people try to explain away miracles in the Bible. One that's always cracked me up is when liberal theologians talk about Moses leading the children of Israel across the Red Sea, and they try to determine based on the time of the year it was that the Red Sea was at very low tide, the water was only ankle deep. I'm sorry. I'm a biblical fundamentalist. I am a literal interpretationist of the Bible. So I'm sorry. The Bible says that God separated the water. God separated the water. But let's go ahead and go with the liberal take for just a moment, shall we? So Moses led, 1 million plus Jews to safety in ankle-deep water. And then in that same ankle-deep water, the entire army of Pharaoh and Pharaoh himself died. They drowned in ankle-deep water. Sorry, but the way I look at it, that's an even bigger miracle than believing God separated the water. Moses and the children of Israel walked over on dry ground, and as soon as Pharaoh and his army came in after them, God just sort of let all the water, just like a tsunami, encase in on top of them and drown them, which is the biblical account. But if you want to go with ankle-deep water and that God wiped out an entire army and the leader of Egypt, hey, go for it. I'm good with that. So if you want to say that Donald Trump is the broke billionaire, but yet he has been able to do for this economy what he has done, he has been able to create the business ventures and things that he has done with his real estate holdings, etc., 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 so the narrative never matches the reality, and their hysteria at acting like, I can't believe we were treated to this. Listening to these these libloon news commentators over at CNN, the clown news network, listening to Jake the Tapper talk about how this was a dumpster fire and it was a hot mess, and another CNN commentator referring to it as a shiz storm, and all of them over there talking about how awful this was. Give me a break. This was so unpresidential. Give me a break. First of all, you people for 4 years have not let up lying about him, pushing every type of kookball theory, and you festered and fostered and promoted the entire lie of Russian collusion for well over 2 years. You pushed and promoted his impeachment. You have done everything that you can to continue to say things to stir up the civil unrest, which is why we've got happening in the streets right now, what we have happening in the streets. And you say that Donald Trump doesn't understand decorum? Give me a break. Give me a break. You people lack any type of real ethics or professionalism. You have done absolutely nothing. You, even to this day, still spinning the lie and the narrative that he's a white supremacist, and you want him to denounce it. And he has how many times? He left the Reform Party when David Duke joined it. And you, Chris Wallace, you little rat weasel, you ask Donald Trump about Charlottesville, which he's already denounced multiple times. You did it as a gotcha question. You knew he wasn't prepared for it. He never even a million years thought you were going to go there. So you had your George Stephanopoulos moment that he had with Mitt Romney. And now you're sitting back and you're just kind of smiling and you're all proud of yourself and you're getting high five from the regular mainstream media. Because, see, the dirty little secret is Fox News is part of that lying, legacy, corporate, corrupt mainstream media. They're just controlled opposition. In other words, they've been thrown out there at us, those of us who are conservative, to make us think they are conservative. No, they're not. Breitbart's conservative. Newsmax is conservative. I'm conservative. Limbaugh's conservative. Blaze TV is a hot mess, but there's some conservatives over there, like a Mark Levin. But Fox News is nothing more than controlled opposition. Now, you have absolutely, Chris, think that you're now, you're accepted by the rest of, because you dealt a death blow to the president. Why don't you ask Biden questions like, Mr. Vice President, would you finally denounce in front of the American people any type of association with the Ku Klux Klan, since you did work with members of the Klan who were elected to the Senate to help you get past your anti-busing legislation so that schools didn't have to be desegregated, because you actually said on the floor in the well of the Senate that you didn't want your kids going to school in, quote, a racial jungle. Well, no, the president did what he did on purpose, and I'm sorry, Michelle, not so that people would tune out, but I guarantee you everybody will tune into the next one. Everybody. He has certainly reinvented the way we're going to watch presidential debates. Now, I realize back in the day they were fairly, tame and polite, and every once in a while a Republican could get in a good zinger like a Ronald Reagan. It was also a different time, different era, and people thought differently. This president does understand that we live in this media-driven society where young people are getting everything from TikTok and just, sound bites and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This president is perfect for that. And you are the guys that keep wanting to go back and we want to be polite, means you want the Republican to stand there and take it, and like an initiation into a fraternity, say, thank you, sir, may I have another? Thank you, sir, may I have another? Only this time, you've got a man that when you bring in the big paddle to give him the swat for the initiation, he reaches around, he grabs the paddle, and then he busts it over your forehead. He's not following decorum. He's supposed to let us beat him down. He's beaten back. We can't have this. These petulant, they know Biden got beat. And some of you young ones, you say you voted for Trump, but now, he's just so rude and he's so crude. I realize some of this is generational. Some of you young men, you have been programmed that if you act like a man, you're toxic, you're vile, you're breathe. Wax on, wax off, breathe in, breathe out, breathe. It's going to be okay. Because think about what they're really saying. Get past their noise, as they complain about the president's noise. Get past their noise and process what they're actually saying. What they're actually saying is, we understand that in the past, politicians stood there and they were polite and they were reserved and they said things that made us feel good. You know, Tucker Carlson last night, and I like Tucker, but he tried to make the case that, Donald Trump's message got lost in his temperament, and that people are interested in temperament and in your spirit. And on one level, I do agree with Tucker. I do think that there were a couple times maybe the president did actually help Biden out by interjecting himself into it. It's kind of like, Biden was starting to wander off into Never Never Land, and one thing you do with a person that's suffering with dementia is when you see them wander, you ask them something, and it's kind of like a splashing some cold water in their face, and they can kind of snap back to it for a minute. So yeah, there are times I think you would be prudent to just sit back a little bit, let him hang himself, because the more he talks, the more trouble he gets into, and he becomes, benign and boring, and then guaranteed to say something, just off the wall stupid, or, run over and try to sniff the female moderator's head, because, he just can't help himself. So sometimes you did bail him out a little bit, but you young ones that are just, you're so worried about the style. Well, let's get some substance here. Bill Clinton, Mr. Personality, he could debate, he was funny, and he was respectful of the people he was debating against, and he knew just when to get the right jab into Bob Dole, who was a walking corpse. But look at what Bill Clinton, and we're not even talking about the conspiracy theories about all the people who are dead or all the women that he raped. Just what he did with Monica Lewinsky, just what he did to ingratiate himself in the selling us down the line with NAFTA and the piss-poor trade deals and the beginning of the great job exodus from the United States. And that's what we got from Barack Obama, who could stand there and smile and sound so reasonable, yet he did some of the most radical changes to our government and to our culture. He normalized perversion, and he made it sound so virtuous. It's time, as he said in his second inaugural address, it is time to welcome the members of the gay, lesbian, transgender community to our table. He lit the White House up in rainbow colors the night of the Supreme Court decision legalizing same-sex marriage, but it wasn't just that. It was the fact that he literally unleashed the most vile of reprehensible, vulgar, abhorrent, deplorable, truly deplorable behavior on this country. But he could smile. He was polite. He had great personality. I have young adult children who right now they're a little bit torn. They're torn because of their peer groups and the people they talk to.
Well, the president, when he talks and the things he tweets and the things he says.
Yeah? Show me the sexist policy. Can't do it. Show me the racist policy. Well, I can't do it. Show me where he has actually crushed somebody's civil liberties. Well, I can't do it. His policies have been great for America. I get it. You don't like his disposition. Well, then you know what? Hold your nose and vote for him, because contrary to what some of you are saying, well, it's voting for the lesser of two evils. No. There's only good and evil in this election cycle. This is definitely the crystal clear, black and white, clearest election we've ever had. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for socialism and a watered down version of communism. He will pack the Supreme Court, which will totally end the system of checks and balances. And from now on, the courts will do what the liberals can't do, which is actually they can't get their legislative agenda through because it's so radical, most of America rejects it, so they will need the courts to do it for them. Mark it down. They will shred and rewrite the Constitution and the entire American experience. This is not the lesser of two. You vote for Donald Trump, it is a vote for your freedom.
Well, you didn't listen to the scientists. Let us all take our masks off.
Well, keep yours on. If you want to live in a mask, live in it. I don't give a flip. But don't make me do it. Let me exercise my own civil liberties and my own civil rights. By the way, some of you running around worrying about masks, especially in supermarkets. I had a woman give me a dirty look the other day. I don't wear a mask. Gave me a really dirty look the other day for not having my mask on. It's mandated. A mandate is not a law, number one. Number two, no, I'm not going to wear it. And by the way, woman, you're riding a motorized scooter. You're hanging off of every inch of that motorized scooter. Two people can't go down the same aisle that you're in because you're spilling off of your motorized scooter. And when I look at what you've got in the basket of your motorized scooter, that's what's killing you, not the fact that I am exhaling as I breathe. I put some pictures up on my Facebook page that have upset some. They've found them personally upsetting. One was the inside of just an absolutely horrifically filthy, vile, vulgar, nasty. You get the vomit taste in your mouth just looking at the picture, and inside of a nasty microwave oven. And I captioned it, and just think, somebody that will eat food out of this microwave in their home is giving you a dirty look for not wearing a face mask. Somebody else put up a picture the other day. I thought it was great to give it a like and a thumbs up. It was just a nasty, filthy, caked with dirt and pet hair and dust furnace filter. I mean, just caked. Just think, somebody with this furnace filter wants you to wear a mask. See, I will not give into the fear and the hysteria, and I'm not going to give into the fear and the hysteria over the debate. Oh, I can't believe the president acted like that. Oh, for heaven's sakes, you act like he walked over there and pile-drived plugs into the floor. Back up, relax, hit reset, and understand, once again, they're playing you. They're trying to make you think that the president was so over-the-top abhorrent. I'm sorry, did the president tell Joe Biden to shut up? No, but Biden said that to him. Did the president refer to Joe Biden during the debate as a clown? No, but the candidate Joe Biden said that of the current sitting president. So who is it that lacks decorum? You know, it's amazing. You call this thing a debate, which is really just a glorified press conference. You call this thing a debate, and as soon as you ask a question that would actually stimulate and engage debate, as they begin to debate, the moderator steps in and makes them stop. Yeah, you want to have some reforms? Yeah, here's what the next debate should look like. Introduce the two candidates. Let them introduce topics and let them for 90 minutes just argue back and forth with one another. No moderator. There. That would sure be a fun and incredibly enlightening debate to watch. And don't listen to all this hyperbole, overreaction from a bunch of Nancys crying about, I can't believe we can't put the American people through another debate like that. Are you kidding me? You put the American people every night through your drivel. You put the American people every night through your unconscionable lies as they watch their cities on fire, and you put in your crawl, mostly peaceful protest. You try to convince the American people they're going to drop dead if they don't listen to every word that comes out of Fauci's mouth as if he were a prophet sent from Allah. You put the American people through Russian collusion. You put the American people through impeachment. And now And now you're whining and crying and saying the American people can't handle a 90-minute debate between two older guys just duking it out. Because, see, you really don't want the American people to hear Donald Trump, to process what he's saying, think on it, and realize, aha, you know your guy lost. And he's losing it. Mr. President, the only piece of advice I will give you moving forward, let Biden hang himself. You know, there is some good old school advice that applies here that my mother told me, my grandmother told me. Give a blind man enough rope, he will hang himself. Let Biden talk long enough, oh, you will get gaffes and you will get dementia-laden never land comments like you've never heard before. Don't throw him the lifeline. Don't help him out by letting him kind of hit the reset button. Don't let him do it. Let him wander. See where it goes. And be what the media is not expecting you to be. When he goes off into something that makes absolutely no sense, turn to him and with a heartfelt voice of compassion and concern, say something like, Joe, are you all right? Should we continue, or do you need to go backstage? Look out toward the family. Is his doctor here? It's obvious there's something very wrong here. You know, if we need to stop the debate, that I understand, because the vice president, there's an issue here. Go for it, Mr. President. You can do this. Hey, that's it for today's rant. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a great big thumbs up and a like. Make sure that you're sharing this page with your friends on your social media platforms. Get the word out that we're here. Smack the bell and click the word all to get notification of my next rant.